So recently I was in the UK, and on my way home in the airport, I picked up this copy of Retro Gamer magazine. They had this huge article in there on the history of all the Wonder Boy games, and it's an interview with the creator of the series, and he goes through quite a bit of the history of developing and publishing some of these different games for different consoles over the years. And in there, he starts talking about a second Game Gear game. Now, I knew there was Wonder Boy on the Game Gear. I've shown Wonder Boy on the Game Gear, the first Wonder Boy game, but I didn't know there was any other Wonder Boy games on the Game Gear, especially one of the more Metroidvania with the RPG elements. This is Dragon's Trap on the Game Gear, which I had no idea existed. Found out about it because I was reading this article. So this is Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap, sometimes just called Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap. This was released originally on the Sega Master System in 1989, and this was ported to the Game Gear a few years later, I think 1992, 1993. Only released in Europe and Japan. There's no North American version of this one, so that's partially why I've probably never heard of it. This is the second Wonder Boy game to implement like RPG elements. This is kind of like a Metroidvania style game. As you progress, you will unlock new characters. You play as these different monsters, and one's like a mouse character, and they all have different abilities. The mouse guy can climb walls. There's like a lizard guy that can swim, and so there's certain areas that you will see, but you won't be able to get past until you have those characters with those abilities. So again, kind of plays like a bit of a Metroidvania game, be it with a smaller, simpler map. There is still some exploration to do, and again, you still have the RPG elements from the second one, so you're upgrading your armor and your shield and your sword from the money that you collect from killing the bad guys as you go. This is a great little game on the Game Gear. Big colorful sprites, pretty good music actually, especially for the Game Gear, which I don't usually consider to be one of the better sounding 8-bit systems as far as music goes, but they did a really good job here. It's just a good looking, good sounding game, fun, controls are good, but it's not just a straight port of the Master System version. As I read about in that article, actually, they talked about how the Game Gear screen is a lower resolution and everything was going to be cropped, and that they were worried that the level design on the Master System was made in a certain way where you would be able to see, because you can see so much of the playfield at once. They knew that you'd be able to see, okay, you'll be able to see that there's a wall here that eventually you're going to get to the other side, and maybe you can see like a treasure chest. And then, they knew going to the Game Gear, they're like, you ain't going to see the treasure chest. You probably won't even see that there's a room on the other side of that wall because it's going to be so cropped in. So they actually did change the level design a little bit. This is not like a straight copy of the Master System version. The levels have been redesigned. So if you played the Master System version and you figured there's no reason to play this one, it might actually be worth checking out. And yeah, I think it looks great. It's just another one of these prime examples of underrated Game Gear games. And I'm guilty. When I say the Game Gear is underrated, or when it's getting better now. We got YouTubers like Sega Lord X, Sega Lord X. And so more people know about this stuff, myself included, because that's how I learned about, the Shinobi games on Game Gear. And growing up, when the Game Gear was relevant and I knew a few people that had it, even they didn't know about these games. They had, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog, Maybe they had Mortal Kombat. Maybe they had one of the sports games. I remember specifically one kid in my grade school that had a Game Gear. He was one of the few kids that had a Game Gear. He wasn't really a gamer. He was more like a jock. So I think he had a couple of sports games. But, like, I didn't know about Rise Star. I didn't know about Gunstar Heroes. I don't even know if I knew about Streets of Rage being on the Game Gear during its relevancy. And, you know, I see games like this now that are very in-depth, big levels to explore, big colorful sprites, as good, if not better, than anything on the Game Boy, honestly. And there's so many games like that that we're seeing now, we know about now, but again, when I say the Game Gear was underrated, I'm, you know, guilty myself, because again, back then, you know, I didn't know about a lot of these games that I know about now. So anyways, yeah, definitely worth checking out for the Game Gear. Even if you played the Master System version, it still might be worth checking out. I'm not sure exactly how different the levels are, but they are slightly different. They are slightly rearranged, at least. So there you go. Wonder Boy 3, the monster, Dragon's Trap. I always want to say like Monster Boy for some reason. Monster Boy in the Wonder Trap, or the Monster Trap, Dragon Boy. Monster World, Dragon's Trap. Very impressive on the Game Gear.